Bartenders are the cornerstone of our community. They set the atmosphere, shape the night, and turn ordinary moments into something unforgettable.
We love to watch them work, the rhythm, the craft, the precision, and we love to taste what they create.
But more than anything, we love to understand what makes them tick, what inspires them, what drives them, and how they got here.
Because behind every pour, every cocktail, and every last call, there's a story. And trust us, they've seen it all.
We're your hosts, Leanne and Blair. Pull up a seat, grab a drink, and listen to what this bar has to say. Welcome, listeners. Our guest tonight, zooming in from the San Francisco area, is Ken McKenzie, founder of Fresh Victor. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's a great pleasure to meet you both.
Yeah, same. So we got samples of your cocktail mixers. They were wonderful. So the first one
Fantastic.
I tried was strawberry lemon. It was so vibrant and delicious. We drink smoothies often, so I used it in a smoothie. It was awesome.
Great.
And then we were going to record a podcast in person. And I had just been reading Chilled Magazine, and they were talking all about Jello shots. So I actually made Jello shots with the grapefruit and sea salt. I use whiskey in that because I love the combination of whiskey and grapefruit. I think that's really big in the bartending world right now. Delicious. And then the Mexican lime and agave, I use Reposado tequila for that. Also really delicious. So
Best Jello shots ever. Swear to God.
yeah.
Oh,
The
thanks,
best.
guys. Wow. That's great. I'm so glad.
Yeah, and we so we gave a couple of bottles to our producer because his wife she enjoys, easy to make cocktails. And then the bartender that we were interviewing, we gave him a couple of bottles so that he could try them out and see what he thought of them. We haven't heard back yet, but we'll report to you when we hear from them. But the flavor, who comes up with these flavor combos? You do.
I do.
They're really amazing, and everything. So your packaging says clean, cold pressed, curated. What exactly is cold pressed?
So, in other words, I think that over the course of time, when I was growing up in the 70s, a lot of the stuff that I experienced was from scratch, whether it was my grandparents or my parents or whomever. From foundation up, they were building a recipe from scratch, and you knew exactly what you were getting because you had to kind of wait for it. It
Yeah.
wasn't that instant gratification of this is all processed, it's from concentrate, that was certainly being introduced, but it wasn't the norm, at least in our household. And so for me, I think going through a journey in the beverage industry the last 3 decades, it's been really interesting to see what people have defaulted to,
Mhm.
what's easy, what's convenient, what's
Right.
quality, what's more kind of, hey, let's get this out as quickly as we can. And I've always kind of tended to go towards the premium side or hey, I want to do this the right way. Nothing that wouldn't be on my grandma's shopping list. Just keep it basic and simple because people can appreciate that. And if they find something they really truly like,
Mhm.
that's not high fructose corn syrup, neon green, cloudy, mixers, they may want to share them with others. And something that really touched me right now, from the standpoint of your guys' reaction to it, was I shared it with the producer, I shared it with the bartender. People wanted to try it or you wanted to share it.
Yeah.
That means the world because you guys see a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
And so for me, I really wanted to have flavors and mixers that kind of went against the grain to a certain degree, meaning that I think that of all this, the time span, the 70s, 80s, 90s, going into the 2000s, alcohol's always had that premium shelf set
Mhm.
and menu placement. They call out, hey, it's this cocktail or that cocktail. It's a headline. And the mixers always had a bad name associated with it. Like it was an afterthought.
Right.
Mhm.
Hey, pick up that because it's available. Not, hey, but if you think about it in perspective, the mixer is 2/3 of the glass.
Mhm.
It's most of what you're drinking. So don't you want it to be good? And so that's really where we kind of came up with, hey, if we could do this in the right way, where people can actually appreciate the ingredients and want to serve it proudly, we should think about how to address flavor profiles and what we want to offer people, knowing what bars and restaurants use for their bar programs, as well as what people would want to drink at home, whether it's a dinner party or by the pool or going to the beach.
Yeah. So you were in the tequila business for quite a while. Were you ever in the bartending industry?
Yeah, I was in the bartending industry. I would say when I was younger, more along lines of going through school and into young adulthood. I didn't spend 10, 15, 20 years behind the bar like a lot of my colleagues. I'm much more, I was lucky enough to fall in love with a girl from Guadalajara, Mexico, follow her down there. And that's how I kind of fell backwards into tequila. It wasn't by design. I wish I could tell you it was just I was so smart that I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It was all about a girl needing to make a living, and it just worked out that way.
Yeah. And so who is your target market? Is it the home bartender or the regular bartender or both?
That's a really interesting question. It's evolved over time, I'd say. I mean, as far as my thinking goes. I've always gotten questions no matter what product I'm making about who is your target consumer, what is their age group, is it male or female, is it all these different things.
Mhm.
I found over time, over decades really, that when people get onto something they really like, and that may be tequila, it may be certain drinks like a margarita or a mojito or a strawberry daiquiri or whatever it is, they'll tend to default to that. And it's less about seasonality or who else is drinking it with them. It's more about what they like as an individual like.
Mhm.
And that's been fascinating for me because as I go out and do these tastings or demos or anything else, I'll capture people that are 22, 23-year-olds saying, hey, this is amazing. I'll capture 5 minutes later 70, 75-year-olds that are like, I love margaritas. That's my go-to. And I'd love to try this out. So I'm equal opportunity that way.
It's definitely nothing like the margarita mixers that
No.
you get anywhere. That is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows anything about
Yeah.
pre-mixed margarita stuff, it's just bad. But you're like I said, the Mexican lime and agave that I used for the shots with the reposado was spot on.
But all of the flavor combos are just excellent.
Yeah.
They're really spot on, tasty. They work well with each other. There's what, 8 or 10 different choices of flavor combinations?
We'll split the difference at 9.
9. Okay.
Yes, sir. There's 9.
That's great. Where did you come up with the name?
So Fresh Victor it's really interesting. Thinking about what we wanted to telegraph to the general consumer, what's the first word we want people to realize? And it truly is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so interesting about our industry is, and this both comes from predicated on, the spirits industry, but also just generally speaking in the consumer industry itself, making claims. Like we are all natural. That I'm super proud of that. Like we're all natural. However, my attorneys won't let me put that on the label because of interpretation. What does all natural mean to you versus me?
Mm.
Well, to me, it's no preservatives. It's no, I can go through the whole running list and we meet all the criteria, but yet they don't want us to get into any, embroglios or issues with interpretation. And so you go to a proper noun, a name. What did we want to name it? Well, we wanted to name it Fresh,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys are the victor for drinking it. It's a victory.
Okay.
We're all winning here. We're all drinking preservative-free, non-GMO, kosher, fair trade, all the bells and whistles that, gluten-free, all the stuff that we want. and we're not compromising. We don't have to like settle on, hey, let's just grab what's in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah.
I like it.
And you have
Yeah.
all the good things. So I noticed on the packaging are the ones that we received has a shelf life August 18th. That's a long time for a perishable product. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the good thing too. I think that people have been so timid to, kind of go after this category or space in a meaningful way, primarily because the industry has been really driven towards, can you make it shelf stable?
Mhm.
Can it be in a warehouse for 3 years?
Mhm.
Can we store it anywhere?
Mhm.
And for me, it was very apparent very quickly that I couldn't figure out a way to meet any of that criteria and still have it be at the quality level, or I'll even just say good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so we were, the trade-off here is it truly is a refrigerated product, and I'm okay with that. And as we did the shelf life studies at UC Davis, it's so acidic from the cold pressed citrus, and the only thing we're really working against here is fermentation. So as long as you keep it cold, it's got a really solid amount of time on it. Which for me, with the bottle size that you guys received, if you can't drink that in 3.5 months, I'm not sure that I should be in business.
Right, right.
That's a good point.
So let's talk about the packaging. So I love how you have a recipe idea on the so this I'm looking at the grapefruit and sea salt. It says Paloma. So you say what type of glass, the proportions, the instructions, and then also a mocktail. And then for more recipes, visit your website. That's really awesome. So easy for somebody to just and you could get what like 4 or 5 cocktails out of this one bottle. That's really a bargain because they're a little bit pricey. They're not cheap, but when you consider how many cocktails you can get out of this one bottle, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, and it really comes down to individualistic taste because I find that everybody has a different ratio when it comes to cocktails.
Mhm.
Mm.
And so some people just want a splash of our stuff.
Mhm.
And you're going to get, 12 plus drinks out of that easily. Some people love, the flavor profile of the pressed citrus and, the agave nectar and everything. And so they're going to go a little bit heavier on the pour of our stuff. But at the end of the day, you want to feel like you can be drinking a fresh cocktail for around $1 a drink
Mhm.
and feel really good about that
Yeah,
on the
it's
expensive end.
it's really a great value.
Yeah. And speaking of the label, what's with the alpaca? Is that just a reference to Mexico or
It's actually
the
Peru.
illustration? All of the illustrations really nice on the packaging, but the alpaca comes up everywhere.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate to work with a number of gifted, just fun people. And the illustrator, who actually I'll give full credit to for the llama, for the alpaca, Stephen Noble, had done like the Espolón skeletons jousting on the tequila bottle and the Boston beer guy and uh,
Okay.
just a number of different illustrations. He's here in Petaluma, not far from me, probably about an hour and 15 minutes away from me, but had been known for really cool woodcut designs and the such. And so, I really, it was fantastic working with him. He's been amazing. But really, I think that the llama itself being in Peru, there's a whole culture around really high-end Epicurean cuisine and drink that I think has been lost to a certain degree in society here, meaning that there's plenty of people that have a great appreciation for it, but we're all so busy and life moves so fast here that
Mhm.
we don't take the time to really appreciate the great meals and the long meals. And so when we went to Machu Picchu, my wife, who's a chef, uh, arranged for us to have a 13-course meal at a Michelin star restaurant in Lima. And I was blown away by the fact that you have the table for 4 hours. And I was like, well, here we go. This is a real event. The food was amazing, but something that really struck me was as we were eating, a llama with two packs, with a pack on either side, kind of brushed past me in the dining area and went straight up to the bar. And the bartender didn't even look up. He just opened the pack with his left hand, grabbed some fruit, and started washing it and cut it up. And I went, this came right from wherever is over there.
Amazing.
We just don't see that anymore.
No.
That's pretty awesome.
And I showed my ignorance by thinking it was an alpaca, not a
Yeah, that
llama.
was a
But
fact.
Here's the other great thing about what you just said. I love that as a conversation because I hear alpaca, I hear camel, I hear llama, I hear all sorts of things, but what it does is it draws us into a conversation.
right.
And a lot of brands don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get a great story.
Right.
So
What we would hope.
yeah. So what's your personal favorite use of your product? How do you like to use it?
I'll tell you, I am probably surprised every week or two by how people are using it. I'll give you some examples. For me, at the most basic level of the 9, I really have an affinity or appreciation for the Mexican lime and agave from a tequila or mezcal perspective. Like it's very easy to use and simple, very straightforward, but is everything that we kind of want it to be. It shows, hey, here's a quality mixer. Here's something that you can use in a myriad of different ways. And then you can kind of build on from there. I was doing account visits last week in Central California. And sometimes things can be counterintuitive to me. I don't, and that's a great thing. I don't come up with some of this stuff. It finds me and I'm grateful for it. And so I had an individual it was a Spanish speaking account. It was Mexican food, tacos, street foods, all these different things that was very cool and done extremely well, like very authentic. And they had a ton of tequila in there, a ton of mezcal, it was right up our alley. And instead, he wanted to talk about mocktails and non-alc alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, that, especially sometimes when I'm in the Mexican restaurant accounts, they go the other way. They want to talk margarita heavy, Paloma heavy, there's daiquiris, all sorts of stuff. And so his natural inclination was to take a pint glass and start filling it with ice and Sprite.
Mm.
And it was counterintuitive to me. I went, hey, the Sprite's going to be sweet. And so I don't know. And right when I was saying that, he dumped some of our 3 citrus and mint leaf on top. And that's equal parts cold pressed orange, lemons, and limes with fresh emulsified mint leaf. And he said, try it. And so I tried it. And damn if I didn't love it. It was amazing. I was like, how did you? And he said, look, man, I can do 9 different styles of Shirley Temples using your guys' stuff. And that's a huge kid menu item. It's a huge mocktail item. Maybe I won't call it a Shirley Temple. Maybe I'll call it something else. But the idea being that I take one ingredient that I have on my gun here that's super simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I add all the ingredients that you've already curated in this bottle, and I have a complex drink.
That's great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And look, I've had it for years at home and I haven't done that yet. So go figure. Like,
Yeah, mocktails are a big thing right now. I guess this new generation, there's a whole new generation of people who want low ABV or 0 ABV. So that's not
As an
but
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's a great use of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my follow-up question to that is, if you're not using your product, what's your favorite cocktail?
oh, what a great question. I'm still a fan, and this might be growing up in the 80s and kind of coming into all that. I'm still a big fan of kind of the old school Polynesian, kind of the Trader Vic's.
Uh-huh.
I really geek out when people are going, "Hey, I sourced this ingredient because you can only get it 3 weeks out of the year," or whatever. And like, "Hey, tell me a lot more. Please sit down. I
Mhm.
want to know how you're building this cocktail. I want to know what's going into it, and the artistry around presentation." I think it's really lost again on the glassware, garnishes.
Oh, it's all important.
It's
Absolutely.
all so important. And it gets so lost, with red cups and paper cups and, hey, just whatever, people have in bulk that they serve with. And so when people really curate the experience or like say, hey, I'm really proud of what I'm doing, I've always felt from my family perspective that cocktails should be culinary. It should
Definitely.
match up. It should, it's food and drink, right? It should match up in a way where you're enjoying yourself thoroughly, whether it's, Christmas Day or the 4th of July or just a family celebration or graduation or whatever it is when you're gathering to break bread. You should really kind of try to level up on both the drinks as well as the food.
You
And
are preaching to the choir here.
yeah, and to
Agree with you.
That's what I look for. And it doesn't have to be exactly that, but you know what I mean? Kind of like if we're in if we're in different parts of Mexico or South America and there's no trade embargo on Cuban rum, I love to hear the heritage and the sugar cane plantation and this we've been making it the same way for 160 years and here's why this is so special. I love all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do you have any new flavors that you're working on that is there anything new coming out or are you sticking with these 9 for now?
Another great question. Yeah, so I can answer that in a couple different ways. There's always stuff I'm working on. Like I'm so excited, and this is certainly predicated on my wife and daughter's input on, hey, can you play around with this? Whether it's guava or passion fruit or tamarind, or there's a lot of different things flying around our kitchen right now. Also industry, people ask me for stuff from time to time, and they're usually very thoughtful and on point. What I will say from an industry perspective is that when you do something like this and you have 9 flavors and you have 2 pack sizes, so we have the pint bottles that we probably sent you, the 16 ounce,
Yeah.
we have the 64-ounce handles. It creates 18 different slots, 18 SKUs.
Mhm.
And so I don't have distributors saying, "Can you please create as much more as possible?" It's oftentimes, "Hey, you getting rid of anything?" Or, you gonna go seasonal on something, this kind of thing. We're still small enough where the 9 work extremely well, and I want to get it out to the, people to see. I don't see any loser in the bunch or something that's not tracking at this point. So it's just a matter of scale now.
That's good. That's good. But being in the middle of the country in Columbus, Ohio, when it gets cold, we do like some of those winter flavors. So I think it would be awesome to see some winter flavors on your profile.
Can you give me some examples? I'm curious.
Like baking spices,
Uh-huh.
pomegranate. I know you have some pomegranate.
Kind of the apple ciders with
Apple
spice.
type
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh-huh. You know what I really enjoy, which is carried over a little bit, our lemon sour is more on the sour side than it is on the sweet side.
hmm.
And it's been a really nice conversion for us because, kids love to use it with sparkling waters for lemonades and the such.
Oh, yeah.
It is not that overly sweet thing. And so when I think about playing around with, even warm or heated drinks, hot drinks, it's a really good element.
Yeah. You can make popsicles with this too.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
good popsicles.
Yes.
So tell us where our listeners can get your products. How do they go about finding you and
Bye.
ordering?
By far, the easiest way is the website, just freshvictor.com. We have a whole shop and we have a fulfillment center here in Northern California at the production facility where we send it directly to people's doorsteps.
Mhm.
And that way you can curate your own box. You can do either size, the 16 or the 64. You can mix and match flavors. You can, do as little as you want or as much as you want, and it'll arrive to you within about 48 hours.
And it comes really nicely. It comes with a cold pack, so you don't have to worry about it getting warm. So it's really great packaging too.
Oh, and you all know where to get more too.
Yes,
Yeah, we do.
Like
Well,
you gave a good portion away.
so we're planning on it because we're doing a fundraiser in a couple of weeks, and so the Jello shots were such a popular thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna make some Jello shots for our fundraiser.
Well, we'd love to donate. And of course, you can always count on us. Just ping me and, we'll figure out how to get your product out in time.
Appreciate that.
And we appreciate it so much. Well, Ken McKenzie, thank you so much for being our guest, and we love your product. We're definitely going to encourage our listeners to go on your website and check out all your flavors and order some stuff. It doesn't matter where you are in the United States; they can get it anywhere in the U.S., I assume.
That's what we do.
Okay, perfect,
Awesome.
wonderful. Well, thanks again for being our guest, and we look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you both so much. It was such a great pleasure.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.
A big thanks to our producer, Greg Hansberry, and to the biographer for our original music. Visit our website at columbuscraftcocktailtour.com for merch, tour dates, and gift cards, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Cbus Craft Cocktail Tour. Please rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps. Until next time, remember to drink responsibly and stay cocktail curious. Cheers.
This has been a Last Call Productions production.